Stepping back a little bit further.
See Allmendinger in that shot, still trying to make up ground after getting knocked off the track by Kurt Busch in the interloop.
While leading early in the race, this is Denny Hamlin, driver just outside the top 10 in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship standings. One win, that at Michigan, the racetrack where we go, I was going to say next weekend, but actually this weekend.
Yeah. And Hamlin and Mike Ford have to be pretty happy. They're in the top 15 now within the first half of the race, so I think they have to be really pleased that they've been able to come from that 42nd starting spot.
Remember, Hamlin had an incident that put that 11 car into the guardrail right at that spot on the racetrack and forced him to start at the back of the field. And here comes your leader. So the next piece in the strategy play is made as Juan Pablo Montoya comes down pit road, putting Jeff Gordon into the lead and Dr. Jerry Punch on the air.
This is a scheduled pit stop for Juan Pablo Montoya. They wanted to go to halfway. They can now make it on one more stop, being very, very careful, very deliberate. Lug nuts tight, do not speed on pit road. Get it full of Sunoco fuel. We signal we're full, he's down and away. Flawless day thus far for the 42 car.
All right, Doc, so Montoya headed back. We'll see where he blends in. Here's the race for the lead.
Yeah, that was a really good stop on Montoya. Those guys did a fantastic job, and that plays big benefits whenever you get back on the track.
Especially on the strategy they're on. They're on that speed strategy and no conserving. This is the other car. Gordon's going to have to make another stop here soon. He pitted later than Montoya and some of the other cars, but he will have to make another stop. So, like I said, if I'm Kyle, I'll just sit here and ride till he does it, take that lead, and just keep on trucking. I'll tell you who's running really good, though, is that Brad Keselowski.
Man, I was just going to say, Andy, what a great job he's doing. It's just 2 weeks in a row. This young man is beat up. I mean, he is hurting in his body. And the worst place you could go with something like that, having to shift gears and be thrown around both sides of the seat in his car. But what a great job he's doing on the road course here.
Jimmy Johnson is in, Dave.
He gets up 5th place, Alan. They took 2 left side tires on lap 29. They were on pit road. They'll take 4 this time. Talked about putting a spring rubber, and you see the chassis adjustment. He's a little loose on the lefts. This track is majority rights, but he wanted to get it just right.
I was actually sure of this strategy, Andy. Well, I just pitted under that last call.
Well, evidently, I don't think I would have pitted if I knew I was going to make this stop, because he's not going to be able to make it now. He'll have to make at least one more.
See how it all plays out as we run out the second half of this race as they come to the halfway point. With Jeff Gordon leading, the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award is updated. Paul Menard's team currently in the lead. You can help determine the standings by voting from your AT&T phone. Text the car number to 234-567 for the pit crew you think is the fastest and most valuable. Gordon leads at Watkins Glen at halfway. A quick catch-up on what's happened in the first half of today's race with our McDonald's race rundown. Of course, the race postponed from Sunday by rain showers yesterday. We finally got going a little after 10 Eastern time on this Monday here in New York State. The inner loop has been a big action spot.
See Morissette getting in there a little too hot, lost traction, spun.
Kurt Busch also going for a spin out at the inner loop. And then the inner loop was a spot where leader at the time, A.J. Allmendinger, got some trouble.
With a little help from Kurt Busch as they got there. A little boot getting in there. He couldn't quite make the turn.
Strategy has been a big story of the day. As always at a road course, it's backfired for a couple.
Trying to stretch that fuel just a little too far. Greg Biffle stalled, brought the caution out.
Yeah, 2 Rouse cars running out of fuel there. First they lap down now.
And that Greg Biffle stall, the only caution of this race so far. You see there's a new leader, Kyle Busch, out in front.
That 2 cars closing the gap a little bit. Don't know how hard Kyle's running, but...
Brad Keselowski also through the former leader, Jeff Gordon, as we show you how that lead change happened a lap ago.
Looking right. He's there. Clear behind him. 2's outside. On your fender. Still out there. Clear behind him.
Yeah, I think that's just experience. Jeff Gordon deciding that his car had started to give up just a little bit. No reason to press the issue right at this point in time. So sitting there in third right now, running good lap times.
Junior's sitting there in a pretty good spot, too, running good laps, not being pressured by anybody, taking advantage of that lucky break he got when he was on pit road when the yellow came out.
As you said, the important thing after getting that break was to run good competitive lap times, and he's been able to do that.
So Kyle Busch last pitted under the caution flag at lap 29. Jeff Gordon last pitted at lap 23 under the green. Dale Earnhardt Jr. at lap 27 under the green.
Keselowski has closed the gap on Kyle just a little bit. It's been about a tenth and a half quicker. Now, I don't like that right there. I see that inside tire on Kyle's car locking up, and I'll tell you, that's going to cause him problems as this race goes on because he's only on that, two-stop strategy. He has to take care of these front tires.
Let's talk strategy and driver condition on this two-car, Doc.
Yeah, again, reminding the folks at home that he is driving with an injured lower back. His feet are better. And, watch how smooth the two-car is. He says the only pain he feels in the car is when the car gets up and lands on the racetrack off those strips. He is trying to be deliberately very smooth and also on a little bit different strategy. Listen in.
No, those are the leaders right here in front of you, but if you could go into a little conservative mode, that'd be great. I'm short shifting here for you and lifting early.
So trying to save fuel and be conservative and short shifting, and guess what? He has closed in on Kyle Busch by doing all that, driving smooth, taking it easy on his back, and also short shifting, guys. Hey, what do they say, guys? The shorter it is, the quicker you are.
Trouble, Doc. Kurt Busch into the barrier.
Tire, guys, we're in the fence. Our day's done.
Yeah, he's done.
Blew a tire there.
That car is shortened up.
Kurt was running 17th at the time. And that is a pretty heavy hit at turn number 5.
Go to garage.
Yeah, you're left front down.
Yeah, you're under full power here.
Wow, man. Good thing those tires were there.
He's another driver that we've seen a few times smoke that left front, getting down into these corners, these high braking areas. You can see right when that tire went down, put on the brakes all you want. You just can't stop soon enough. Unfortunate for Kurt Busch today.
Yeah, the thing with Kyle, he's been locking that right front up, getting into turn 1. And what happens when you do that a few times, it'll put a flat spot on it, and it'll find that flat spot every single time because that's where it wants to when you have that heavy load on braking, hits that flat spot, it'll just keep hitting it time after time. I don't know if that's what happened to Kurt here, but I worry about that with Kyle's car. It's actually hurt the 18's performance. We've seen him fall off on lap times.
So Kurt trying to get a look for himself at what might have happened there. That has put him into the tire barrier at turn number 5 and brought us out the caution flag for just the second time in the race. Vince?
Well, certainly a tough day for Kurt Busch. Was in early with that damage to the left front, and he was having brake issues. And Andy and DJ, maybe expound on this, that he had already put 8 rounds into his brakes, give you an indication of how big of an issue that was for him so far today.
Yeah, that could have been exactly what caused his problems. But, man, that's too bad. That's a hard lick. And one of the things that kind of causes that, he had a fast car, but he qualified back in the pack, and he had to really hustle the car. Then he spun out trying to do that, so put him back again. So he's kind of been on a pretty aggressive strategy here.
All right, so pit crews are going to have to figure out what this means for their strategy. Regan Smith being recaptured by the pace car, was not in front of the leader at the moment the caution came out.
I'd like to see Jeff Gordon come down pit road. I'm looking at just seeing when these cars last pitted. He pitted on lap 23.
If he comes, he could probably bring a lot of others with him at this point in time, knowing that are going to have to be on that strategy of making one more stop.
Yeah, this is just one of those races that the changing picture and where the caution flags are flying complicate the strategy even more.
And you see Jeff Burton, a couple other ones coming down pit road. There comes Hamlin.
So Gordon is in. Allmendinger, Hamlin, Menard.
And Burton did not come in. Looked like he was faking towards pit road.
Ron Fellows also in. Dave?
A.J. Allmendinger's in again, guys. 4 tires and fuel for him.
Jeff Gordon in the 24 just says it's real loose at the top of the S's and on throttle off the turns. It's a 4-tire change for Gordon. They're also going to make an air pressure adjustment on the 24.
All right, so Gordon in, but not that many takers under this yellow flag.
Well, Gordon was going to have to make that extra stop, so this was a good chance for him to do that. And now he still has to make one more. We got 40 laps to go, so this means Kyle Busch is going to have to run, basically 10 more laps or thereabouts to make that before he makes his last stop. And I worry about that inside front tire, that right front tire.
Caution does help them on their fuel mileage situation, though, for sure.
Yes. So Kurt Busch's car going for a ride back to the garage area. That does look kind of funny, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess we have to assume the wrecker's hooked to it.
Yeah. Tough day for Kurt. The winner of the season's first road course race out in Sonoma will not win today here in Watkins Glen. Second caution, flat left front at turn number 5. Hang on. Live from Watkins Glen, the hell of a good sour cream dips at the Glen. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest information. Past halfway, and in the middle of a little strategy play, as these road course races always are, as we get ready to restart from just the second caution of the event. Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass on that caution. Boris said in the 51 for Phoenix Racing. Boris making his Sprint Cup debut in this race some 12 years ago today, and he will be in the 30th position as we go back to racing. Caution came out for Kurt Busch with trouble in turn 5, Dave.
Yep, and he had trouble early as well. Kurt, did the early issues have anything to do with the late issues? What were you experiencing out there?
I'm guessing it all bridged together. I had big problems getting into the braking zones, all lock up on rear brake. So I had to crank 8 rounds of front brake in it just to try to survive. All that does is generate brake heat, blew out the left front. So this is kind of a bummer day. Not anything that we expected. Must have been something with the brake package. So whatever Keselowski found and at Road Atlanta had a problem with, we're somewhat generating some of that.
Okay, good information. Glad he's okay. He walked out of the med center under his own power, guys.
That's a tough spot to have a tire go down.
And it makes more sense that what he's talking about, putting all of that front brake in the car. See the heavy hit into those tires. There's no safer barrier there, but those tires do absorb a lot of the impact.
Just blew a tire, guys.
So Kurt Busch out of the race. We get set to go back racing. Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski on the front row. Jeff Gordon gave up third for a pit stop under the caution. He'll restart in 21st position. This is Brad Keselowski as we get set to go racing.
What do you think here, Paul? Sticking to our plan. Yeah, every single car on the track is one stop away right now. I mean, there's nobody, that can make it, obviously, but everybody's on a one-stop plan from right here.
3 wide back there in traffic.
Yeah, things are going to get ramped up here now. These laps are winding down. These drivers know it's probably going to 90 laps, so it's time to get all the positions you can, especially on these restarts. So Dale Jr. with a good run there on the 2 car. Will he try to make a pass getting into the inner loop?
Tony Stewart does. Makes a move. The inside of Truex. I'm not sure Tony doesn't have one of the best cars, not the best car, because he's had to pass a lot of them because he lost spots on pit road.
Stewart stopping under that first caution back at lap 29 and losing a handful of positions that he's had to make up on the track.
Mark Martin getting shuffled out there. A little contact back there. A.J. Allmendinger going by him.
Jimmy Johnson around Bobby Labonte at 17th place. Jeff Gordon, remember, restarted 21st. Got the fresher tires, trying to make up some track position here.
With those fresher tires, this is one of those areas that it allows you to get into that corner a little bit harder.